gotten back to 3.8 trillion. XRP's at 259. Feeling good about things. I did buy the dip on Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown did not go down like a lot of exchanges during the flash crash on Friday. I was able to, I didn't get the dip where I wanted to get it, but I did send my broker at Caleb and Brown an email on the first part of the dip, and was able to scoop up a bunch of XRP. If you want to open a Caleb and Brown account so that you have a broker and so that you have free institutional custody and so that you don't have to worry about the exchange locking up and so that you don't have to worry about having enough liquidity to get out when the time comes, go to xrpwealth589.com and it'll forward you to my page here on Caleb and Brown. You just click sign up today. This is JP Morgan. We had Morgan Stanley this morning, we mentioned, is coming into crypto. Now JP Morgan. Go figure.
Just in terms of another big topic that the banks focus on, custody of crypto assets. I was speaking to Citi last week, suggesting they're going to launch their own crypto custody service. This is actually holding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other tokens as well. When it comes to how you're approaching digital assets, how big a topic is custody right now? Is it something that you're looking to launch as well?
On the JP Morgan side, I don't think that's in the near-term horizon for us. I think Jamie was pretty clear at Investor Day that we're going to be involved in the trading of that, but custody isn't on the table at the moment. There's a lot of questions around our own risk appetite of how far we want to go down that path from trading and other sides of it, and then custody, I guess, would follow. But naturally, we need custodians, so we're exploring what the right custodians for us for the business footprint that we're for.
And just in terms of another big topic that the banks focus
on. Then we've got this. Christian Carlo did an interview, it looks like with some high school guys. I've always thought of Ripple as like when they were laying Vanderbilt and all them were laying railroad tracks. And in the Industrial Revolution, that's what I've always thought about. Ripple has been laying the tracks and dealing with all the regulatory issues over the last decade. It's the same thing.
I think what's happening right now is remarkable historically. Maybe the railroad technology of the 1880s had as much policy-led support as this does. I've never seen as much policy supported support for innovation. Even I was around in the 1990s during the first wave of the internet, when Congress passed some important legislation that was Republican-led, and the White House, Democrat-led, under President Clinton, worked very, very well together. Together, they developed a do-no-harm policy for the early internet, and that was really important. And yet, as forward-leaning as that was, this is even more so. And so I think you're going to have a lot of building of infrastructure, of L1s, L2s, L3s, and the crypto. And as your listeners may know, those are the base layers of these blockchain buildings, and then the applications that are built upon that. But then also financing for this technology, because it does require a lot of capital to build it. So all of that is going to take place. Now, even with that policy-led support, that doesn't rule out there might be, and there very well might be, a bubble in prices, and we could have a bubble bursting, just as it did during every technology revolution. The railroad era of the 1880s ended in, I think it was 1897, with a major crash as big as the Depression, and the same could happen. But interestingly, when that crash happened, nobody tore up the railroads.
Right.
Nobody said, that's it, we're done with railroads. The railroad innovation went on, and railroads, we don't use them much anymore, so we don't realize how important it was. The United States was a series of regional economies until the railroad came. We were not a national economy. And we were not a national society because it was the railroad that brought the telegraph, that we could first read about things happening outside of our regional area. The railroad was fundamentally transformative technology that turned the United States from a series of regional economies into the greatest unified economy the world has ever known. Europe is still trying to get the type of economic unity that we achieved a century and a half ago. And so the railroad was very, very important to the United States. And it came with bubbles and busts. And I believe we will have bubbles and busts in this innovation. And when the inevitable bubble happens, there's going to be people out there saying, see, I told you this crypto stuff is bad. No, it's not the crypto stuff that's bad. This technology is as important as we believe it to be. It's just that sometimes the valuation gets way ahead of the results. And I think there's always a chance of that, but it doesn't undermine how important this technology is.
Yep, that's a pretty adult take on things. Gold's at 4,100, silver's at 52. Things are happening. Also, all the leverage was flushed out of the system on Friday, and then the CME Group launches the CFTC regulated options on Solana and XRP today. Go figure. Look at Paul Barron. Let's talk about the most suspicious 72 hours in trade war and crypto history. Friday, 4 p.m., China. I'm getting a, hold on, I'm going to have to stop here. I got to get a phone call. Sorry, got a phone call. So check this out. Friday, 4 p.m., China announces rare earth export controls. MP Materials USA rare earth immediately soar. Crypto liquidations, 19 to 20 billion. Bitcoin, and it goes through all of them. Then Trump threatens 100% tariffs by November 1. Perfect timing for max panic, max volume. Sunday, both sides walk it back. China, we don't want a trade war. Trump's tariffs could be walked back. Z meeting still on. Someone made billions in 72 hours while retail panic sold. Was this leverage for the APEC summit or orchestrated volatility for those who knew the script? The rare earth crisis that solved itself in a weekend. I'll break that. I mean, those are all good points. Okay, I hope these guys are right, because if they're right, XRP is going to be a pretty good price.
And Arthur, Tom, this has been great. One last question for you guys. It is October 6th, so we've got 2 months, 3 weeks before the end of the year. Bitcoin just hit an all-time high the day of recording at 126,000. Ether, I would like it to get at least above 5,000 this month, hopefully. Arthur, what do you think the year-end ranges will be for both Bitcoin and ETH?
So I'm going to stay consistent. $250,000 Bitcoin, $10,000 ETH.
$10,000 ETH. You think ETH can do more than a doubling in 2.5 months?
Yep.
All right. Tom, you dropped off really quick, but the question is end of year price targets. We got 2 months, 3 weeks before December 31st. What do you think ETH is going to be? What do you think Bitcoin's going to be?
Yeah, but by year end, our target for Bitcoin is 200 to 250,000, and for Ethereum, somewhere between 10 and 12,000 ETH.
Even higher than Arthur. So that's basically what Arthur just said.
I mean, if Tom says it, this is going to happen.
They're all in the same club, folks. Massive insider trading minutes before Trump's China tariff announcement. A whale opened a $100 million short on Bitcoin. Look at this. I mean, man, manipulation out the wazoo. Now, today, Coinbase is teaming up with American Express to launch crypto credit card offering Bitcoin rewards. It's a good time for a reminder from Smoke.
And American Express, etc., have been making huge investments and making collaborations to go online and support platforms and really enable merchants to lower cost content seamlessly. We've seen recent collaborations such as the FinTech Wirecard working with Visa, and of course Ripple now also on our panel working with American Express. These are all signs that these giants are going there, and they are going to mostly focus on online payments, and this is the future. Yeah, it's really interesting.
All right. And then here's this guy right here was on it this morning. I've been informed that you're not the only one. He's talking about the guy he's accusing of being the mysterious whale. You're not the only one moving funds, and that there's another person involved with you who, strangely enough, has attended several events at the White House. After you posted your statement, he's been deleting everything from his profile. And then here's Mark Yusko at it again. He thinks XRP is ridiculous, but Satoshi possibly being North Korea, China, Russia, and supposedly investing in Bitcoin, not knowing, that's totally reasonable.
And to say that like XRP, ridiculous, right? You got all this stuff owned by Brad and the foundation, and then you got the army trading the shares back and forth to try to get 286 or 289. If the foundation
Actually, we got 360 or so.
actually sold
all those coins, the price would basically go to zero.
What would happen if Satoshi, who you don't know who it is, dumped all his all at once? Look at this from Peter Brett. A few final posts for the weekend, then I'll leave you youngsters your dreams. He's got XRP, just a minor reaction, bigger theme of things. Here's his XRP charting. I think it looks pretty good. Look at this, the Ondo Finance, they're having an event to put tokenization on the map. February 3rd, 2026, the world's leading executives, investors, policymakers. They don't have the speakers up, and they're calling it Wall Street 2.0, by the way. Look who happens to be there as their sponsors. Oh, there's Ripple. Every major financial player in the world is on this screen, if you haven't noticed, folks. State Street, JP Morgan, BlackRock, Franklin Templeton, BNY Mellon. Who else do you see? DTCC, Moody's, Forbes, Citi. Are you not completing the picture in your mind yet? You should be. I have. Why is Siri just turned on for some reason? Okay, I'm going to go to DAIXRP.com. That's the Patreon. If you'd rather join through YouTube, you can click on the join button below any YouTube videos. If you'd rather join through X, hit subscribe. We do the full video plus the extra video with no commercials.